The Mello TV Evening News at 8 is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Coronavirus is in Jamaica, and I know you feel scared and worried. But you can't let COVID-19 divide us. Coronavirus infects all kinds of people. It doesn't discriminate. So why should you? When someone coughs or sneezes or shows signs of the virus, tell them to call 888-1-LOVE immediately. And remember, stay 3 feet away, but don't attack or disrespect them, because we're all in this thing together. Come on, Jamaica, cut the hate and don't discriminate. Let us stand together and fight COVID-19 as one family, one nation.
Coming up in this evening's news, confirmed cases of COVID-19 remain at 552, while 211 persons have recovered from the virus. Prime Minister leads a small team in the National Labour Day project. Still tonight, University Hospital of the West Indies makes an appeal for blood donations. And Minister of Local Government and Community Development hands over an indigent house in Denham Town as part of the constituency's Labour Day activities.
Good evening, and now the news in detail. We begin with a COVID-19 update as the total number of confirmed COVID-19 cases still stands at 552, while 211 persons have recovered from the virus to date. Still making Mello TV news, Prime Minister Andrew Holness led a small and socially distanced team for the cleaning of the statues of the Right Excellent Sir Alexander Bustamante and the Right Excellent Norman Manley at the Sir William Grant Park in downtown Kingston in this year's National Labour Day project. Mr. Holness said the decision was made with other members of Parliament to keep the ceremony on a smaller scale while honouring the history of the labour movement and workers of our country.
It would be very difficult to have all the projects that we normally do on Labour Day and still observe faithfully all the protocols and orders under the Disaster Risk Management Act. Lo and behold, I got a subsequent note to say, Prime Minister, we still have to keep a ceremony to acknowledge the workers of Jamaica. We may not do any project, but we must still acknowledge the workers of the country. We must still acknowledge our past, our history, especially seeing that modern Jamaica is built, created, formed out of the labor struggles of the 1930s. So not because there is a pandemic means that we should postpone or not do these kinds of ceremony. And I ended up agreeing with her that it made sense to still keep a very small ceremony in respect of the labor movement and the workers of Jamaica.
Prime Minister Holness also outlined the great service of our national heroes who are also the country's labour leaders and have impacted the labour force in Jamaica even to date.
Indeed, we would describe Sir Alexander Bustamante as the flamboyant and articulate labor leader who galvanized the working masses into an organized mission of securing the rights of the workers. St. William Grant was what you would describe as the ground leader. He would be like the field marshal, the man who was in the field working with the workers. And Norman Manley gave great support, particularly when Buster was arrested and the union work had to continue. Even now, there are still issues which must be addressed as it relates to labor. The labor movement is still a very powerful, very influential, and very important partner in national development.
Now, opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips, in his remarks, said that the significance of Labor Day is to recall that the task of the workers is the foundation of the human experience.
And what is significant about today as we come to this hallowed ground is that we should recall the fact that work, the task of the workers, really is the foundation of all human experience. And that our workers today represent the foundation of our productive capability, represent the heart of community life, and represent the substance, the foundation of our economic effort. I would like today, as we celebrate Labor Day, to salute all the workers of Jamaica, and particularly to single out those workers, our first responders, our nurses, our doctors, our security force personnel, our ambulance drivers, all the people, those who do the tracing studies, the testing for the coronavirus, all those workers deserve our special tribute and recognition today. There is a group of ship workers who are expected today, and I think I speak on behalf of all Jamaica when we say to them, welcome home, because there is no place like home. This crisis has highlighted the extent to which many of our people still have to struggle and make effort to find a way to make a living for themselves and their families. It has highlighted the different experiences of nationhood that we all enjoy, and we need to dedicate ourselves to remembering that the quality of our nationhood depends on how we treat even the least among us.
Minister of Local Government and Community Development Desmond McKenzie expressed that the significance of this year's celebration reflects both leaders and their contribution to the labor movement.
It is significant, ladies and gentlemen, that Labor Day celebrations this year reflect both leaders and their contribution to the labor movement in Jamaica. And therefore, as we gather this morning to celebrate and remember the struggles of the workers, we must do so remembering that it was because of this location while many Jamaicans can stand proud and speak about how progressive our labor movement has been in this country. I want to urge us all to ensure that this rich legacy of our labor movement is protected. Never feel as if those who fought for us to ensure that our wages are guaranteed did so for any personal gains.
Now, the mayor of Kingston and St. Andrew gave a historical background of the city and how this adds to the quality of lives of citizens.
So this is the center of the original design of the city. If you look across there, you have a theater, the Ward Theater. That has been a theater space since the 1700s. That's massive. If you look right over, we're looking at that building there, it's the Cope Methodist Church, built in the 1840s and named after the father of the Methodist mission. So this is the Jubilee Market is there and very close to your Houses of Parliament, Liberty Hall, that the space that we create, the recreational spaces and the quality of those spaces go into increasing or making the quality of life commendable. So a prosperous country, a livable, sustainable, and resilient city of Kingston.
Still making Mello TV news, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the way that the country will return to work amidst the COVID-19 pandemic is of critical concern.
As we contemplate how we maneuver in this pandemic period, the question is being asked, are we ready to go back to work? Indeed, some are contemplating, should we go back to work? One of the strategies to control the spread of the disease was to encourage, as much as possible, firms to have their workers work from home. And then there are further complications. Having closed schools, we have our children at home. Further complications, because the virus is spread in closed quarters, how do we deal with transportation, public transportation? All of these are critical issues that will affect the labor force, and our unions are rightly concerned. How we get back to work in this period of pandemic is therefore of critical importance.
The Prime Minister outlined that an economic recovery task force has been put in place to develop protocols that will ensure the safety of everyone as they return to work.
We have put together an economic recovery task force, and that task force includes labor and other important stakeholders. And they are all working on developing the right set of protocols that will ensure that it is safe for everyone to go back to work. That those children who are still at home because we have had to close our schools, that there would be enough provisions in terms of allowing for time to ensure that there is the proper care at home for those children. Protocols for taking public transportation. Protocols to ensure, which these protocols were possible previously under the flexible work arrangement laws that we passed some 6 years ago, to ensure that you can stagger, for example, working times, that you can make various arrangements for remote work. All of these are things that we will have to put in place to return our labor force to working at full capacity. We have to survive the pandemic, but we also have to survive the recession. Two imperatives. We have to work, and we have to work safely. We have to protect our lives, and we have to protect our livelihoods. So we are putting in place all the measures, and with your cooperation, with your faithful keeping of the protocols, we will overcome this pandemic.
In news from the capital, residents and councillor for Nannyville Gardens in Kingston, Andrew Swaby, embarked upon the cleaning up of the community yesterday as part of a pre-Labor Day project. One resident there urged residents to keep the community clean to help prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Well, I don't really feel that good because, you know, sometimes some of the people them inside, but more time we still come around and still try to clean it up same way. Keep the place clean. Cleanliness and godliness, and it's our place, our community, our nice community. So we need all of us to cooperate and communicate to keep the place clean, not one or two people. So we have to keep the place clean, even though the coronavirus and thing, you don't know cleanliness and godliness, and we have to deal with it. Because we can't deal with the corona too much, so you don't know. We have to do a little project in our community to clean up the place as usual. Me and one of the cleaner them walk on and clean. Because you say we keep the place clean, wash our hands, stand inside, but we are outside now.
Councillor Swaby outlined that this year's activities took on a different format due to the COVID-19 outbreak.
Customarily, we always, in Nannyville Gardens, started our Labor Day project before the day, and today is one of such. It's very low-key this year because of the COVID, and the emphasis is to clean up your own home. But I'm a little bit disturbed that this particular area, right in front of the health center, at the entrance of Nannyville, the entrance to the party center, because Nannyville prides itself to being a party center, and we keep throwing our rubbles, our derelict cars, rubbish right here. This can't spell well good for the community. If you look at the housing stock, they are excellent. The yards are excellent yard, but the entrance to the community, I'm a bit disturbed. It is time we take control of our area and we clean the area. We maintain it in a level of what Nannyville deserve. Because of the COVID pandemic, we have decided just to stay at this area, and we're only doing a section of Nannyville Gardens. Residents also have been taking their bulky waste here and put it in the truck. We would have taken over 10 truck loads already. And the tractor will be doing the excavation of the rubbles also. So it's a deliberate attempt for just persons to just come, put their rubbish down, and then the truckmen take it up.
Councillor Swaby expressed concerns about growing tensions between residents in different sections of the community.
Well, I'm a little bit concerned, I should say more than concerned, because a number of residents who have been talking to me, and they are concerned, especially our senior citizens, about an underlying tension in the Nannyville Gardens area. I must just tell persons that we are not going back to the bloody days of 2013. Persons are turning off the lights, roads are dark at night, and persons are holding out on ends. And I'm just saying to residents that we are not going back to those days, and I'm asking the police to make sure that while they respect the rights of citizens, they give an eye in Nannyville Gardens. I'm told by residents that persons actually put switch on the GPS light to turn off the lights at night. These situations are untenable. We have to deal with them, and these are issues that are worthy to be dealt with, because as I've said before, we are not going back to the days when you have violence in the community.
On a somber note, former mayor of May Pen and Jamaica Labour Party JLP councillor for the Mineral Heights division in Clarendon, Milton Brown, has died. Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced Mr. Brown's passing via social media earlier today, saying, and I quote, "I am deeply saddened by the passing of former mayor of May Pen and Jamaica Labour Party councillor for the Mineral Heights division in Clarendon, Milton Brown," end quote. Prime Minister Holness added that Mr. Brown was always available, always on the ground, working for his people, his party and his country, and was a committed member of the JLP. Mr. Holness also expressed his heartfelt sympathy and sincere condolences to Brown's family and loved ones. Still tonight, the University Hospital of the West Indies is appealing to residents to donate blood. In a statement released yesterday, the hospital said while the numbers of donors have decreased during the COVID-19 outbreak, the need for blood transfusions has in fact increased. In addition to patients with COVID-19, blood products are also needed to treat children with leukemia, pregnant women, and victims of violence or vehicular accidents. The university hospital further stated that giving blood is a very safe process and takes only 15 minutes. From a single unit of blood, the products prepared can help to save the lives of 3 patients. The University Hospital of the West Indies wishes to assure donors that all the required protocols are observed in order to protect their health and safety in the process of voluntary donating blood. Donators of all blood types are needed. The University Blood Center is open from Mondays to Fridays 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. and special arrangements can be made for donors who are unable to donate blood during those hours. In news from St. Catherine, 12 persons were charged for breaches of the Disaster Risk Management Act in Portmore in the parish on Sunday. Now, reports coming into our news center are that the police were on patrol in the Nago's Head and Southborough communities sometime after 8 p.m. when the alleged breaches were detected, leading to the arrests. Now, as announced by the government, the nightly island-wide curfew has been tightened for the Labor Day holiday period. Prime Minister Andrew Holness recently made the announcement in an update to the nation on the coronavirus COVID-19, stating that the nightly curfew that currently runs from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. was adjusted for yesterday, Sunday, May 24, and today, Monday, May 25. Yesterday, the curfew ran from 3 p.m. to 8 a.m. today, Labor Day. The hours of the curfew today ran from 3 p.m. to 5 a.m. tomorrow, May 26. Thereafter, the nightly curfew will be from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., commencing tomorrow, May 26, through to May 31. In other news from the capital, a teenaged boy has been implicated in the murder of 8-year-old Toya Brown in Denham Town, West Kingston, that occurred on May 6 this year. The teenager was one of 2 persons arrested by the Kingston Western Police on May 22. The 16-year-old is being held on reasonable suspicion of murder, illegal possession of firearm, and illegal possession of ammunition. Toya was fatally shot at about 5 p.m. on Wednesday, May 6. She was reportedly standing on the staircase of her home on Dumfries Street when the suspect allegedly pointed a firearm upwards and began firing gunshots. The victim was hit in the upper body and later died upon arrival at the hospital. The other detainee was apprehended during an operation in connection with the February 2020 murder of 42-year-old Kevin Clark of Greenwich Road, Kingston 5. Reports coming into our news center from the Denham Town Police are that at about 7:15 p.m., Clark was standing along the roadway when a group of men drove up in a motor vehicle and shot him several times in the upper body. The identity of the suspect is being withheld pending further investigations. In news from St. Mary, the Islington Police seized several rounds of ammunition at Blueberry Corner in the parish on Saturday, May 23. Reports coming into our news center are that at about 11:30 p.m., a team of officers were on patrol in the area when a man was seen acting in a suspicious manner. The man made an attempt to run after allegedly removing and discarding several rounds of ammunition from his pocket. 16 9mm cartridges were later retrieved. The suspect's identity is being withheld pending further investigations, and investigations are ongoing. In other news, the coordinated efforts of personnel from Jamaica Customs and the Area 1 Lottery Scamming Task Force led to the arrest and charge of an alleged lottery scammer in Anchovy, St. James. The man has been identified as 24-year-old Dario Davis of York Bush District in Mount Carey. He has been charged with possession of identity information with intent and possession of access devices. Davis aroused suspicions when he collected a package containing bank cards. He was then arrested. The team conducted follow-up operations at 2 locations in York Bush District in the parish, and 2 cellular phones were seized. And those were some of the stories making news. I return with other updates as Minister of Local Government and Community Development hands over an indigent house in Denham Town as part of the constituency's Labor Day activities. We'll now take a break and then join Christopher Scott with sport.
Coronavirus is in Jamaica, and I know you feel scared and worried. But you can't let COVID-19 divide us. Coronavirus infects all kinds of people. It doesn't discriminate. So why should you? When someone coughs or sneezes or shows signs of the virus, tell them to call 888-1-LOVE immediately. And remember, stay 3 feet away, but don't attack or disrespect them, because we're all in this thing together. Come on, Jamaica, cut the hate and don't discriminate. Let us stand together and fight COVID-19 as one family, one nation.